Canada! You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire youth wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Leek.
Together we are Road Break. How's every single one of you? It's Tuesday morning, and we're ready to talk about Monday Night Raw. Show that was impacted, was a change for some situations that we're going to be discussing. And I think that in some aspects it was a little better because of that, but in some others, like you said, we guess it's very tainted because we actually get excited for something that it was never going to happen. So I think that in the end, we'll let it pass because of the situations that they have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, this show, like you had said, and WWE actually addressed it, which the only reason they did address it is because, it happened to their champion, and that was, Drew McIntyre. He was infected with COVID-19, so kind of had to rewrite the whole plans. And, with all that being said, the show was all right. Like you said, certain aspects, they had to rewrite last minute, change some things around. It was decent, but it was still Monday Night Raw. It was still 3 hours of, pretty awful wrestling, and, I guess let's just get into it.
Yes, let's get into it. Just don't forget to help us out with this video, support us, our reactions, our recap, or the highlights, what we thought it was good about the Broken Skull sessions with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bayley, the first woman in the show. So that's a change of pace. So I like that. And learn a little bit of what you already know because we cover this every single day. So nothing really new that we didn't know from Bayley, but some aspects we get to see her more as a person rather than the character, so that's good. So be there for us for that. And Paul, the show started with the news that broke down after McIntyre's reveal, and terrorizing Triple H opened the show. So at least for me, that was really legit. Kind of like I said, welcome to Monday Night Raw and all of that. Having Triple H already for me, it was a lot better than, Roman Reigns on SmackDown and all the crap that they have for me every single, Monday Night Raw. But like you said, tainted because next week he's not going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things where, you and I said, it's a shame that we have to get excited for the, the guys of yesteryear because they can't portray the new guys legit. I won't say that, they don't have, none of the current, roster members are as legit as Triple H. No, I mean, some of them I think are, but it's just the way they're portrayed. And, with Triple H, when he comes out, when he speaks and stuff, it's let me listen to what this guy has to say.
Yes, and he's so good and when he iterates the words and everything. He'll say, it's been a while that, he said, Monday Night Raw, welcome to Monday Night Raw. So Randy Orton came out right away, and he says, well, yeah, I was supposed to have a big match with Drew McIntyre, but I'm glad that you're here because, it seems like you're going to, be the one saying that I won the Royal Rumble or give me my WWE Championship. He starts, you could see, the rivalry was going to be there, and Triple H says that, actually he likes what Randy Orton's done. He said, hey, I really like how you change. You're more edgy, you're angry and all of that. You're channeling that in, to benefit yourself. For example, getting the Fiend, burning the Fiend, setting him on fire. All of that is I love it. But the one thing I don't appreciate is, what the thing that you're doing to the legends. You're, stepping on them, doing, the pawn and all of that. And he says, you humiliate Mark Henry, HBK. I don't remember the HBK because last week I don't think that happened. But the Ric Flair and all of that. So he said, I'm going to try to avenge all of them. So then, then of course Orton wanted a match. And they do the same joke all the time. This is oh, you want to have a match? You do. And then it's well, Stephanie, they always say that. His balls live on the Stephanie's purse inside. I don't know what it is. But they always say that joke. The only way to get to him is hey, you're Stephanie's that's your boss or all of that. So I don't like that. But anyway, that turned into a match. He ended up beating giving him a punch, and that was it. What do you think of all of this?
I mean, it was one of the things, we said, they had to get some excitement because it's okay, there's no WWE champ, at least for this Raw and next week, if, hopefully it's only just these 2 weeks that we don't see him, but, you had to do something exciting and who, okay, let's get Triple H in a match, evolution, call back to all this stuff. But it's just kind of funny how Triple H is fine with him burning a man alive. But, oh, no, don't make fun of Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Don't make fun of Ric Flair, but you can kill a man, and that's okay.
Or, don't do anything to HBK. He didn't do anything to HBK,
Fair, but, I mean, it was like the line, oh yeah, oh, isn't Stephanie here so you can get your balls out of her purse and stuff. I mean, yeah, he could have attacked him another way, been like, oh, you don't got it anymore, you can't beat me, blah blah blah, like, challenge his like skill versus just like, oh yeah, your balls.
I like that better what you said, because like I said to you, there's a joke that they do all the time, that, oh, like you're whipped. Yeah, okay, yeah.
If Stephanie was out there with him and she was like, oh, no, don't do it. And he's like, oh, what? Does she have your balls? Then it's different because she's right there. But
yeah, but, don't just do it like that. But I think regardless of that, I think it was a pretty okay segment. And
it definitely got you excited. If you didn't think about it like we do sometimes in the long run, where it's like, well, Triple H isn't going to come back. He's not going to have a run. This is just for 1 week. And like with Christian. Remember, it's like, oh, Christian's back, and we're all excited, and then it was 1 week, punt, kick, and done.
And done, yeah.
No, so it's, don't get excited, but still, for that segment, it was still cool to see.
Yes, you're right. And, let's go with, like, the next thing. We got, like, the implications of what happened last week. Kind of like, is that, like, a triangle here, or, like, a love angle is being said with Charlotte and Lacey Evans? So Charlotte says, well, I still love my dad. I'm always going to love him. But, in 2021... why are people asking about him and not me? Because your dad's legit. Pretty much, your dad is the guy.
Because he's banging a woman who's like probably less than half his age.
Yes, and that isn't that a good storyline?
Rick.
Well, Rick, and even Lacey says, hey, I wasn't playing with anybody that wasn't trying to play. So, hey, he's like a really cute, handsome old man. So I dedicate this, like, this match to you, Rick. So, woo! There you go. And they have this. I mean, I like this. Those, like, tainted love angles, whatever you want to call it. I enjoy this. I think that the match wasn't that great. But, I mean, I think that, like, the whole storyline is pretty good. I like it. I don't know about you, but it was really good. And,
yeah, I mean, it's funny to see Ric Flair, like do all the stuff that he does, but I mean, and the way Lacey sells it, I think is pretty good. It would be better if this was a different baby face.
Yes.
Because Charlotte's not a good baby face at all. But I mean, obviously, she's Ric Flair's daughter, so you have to do it with two of them. You can't be like, oh yeah, put some other baby face in there. But Charlotte doesn't play this role good. And, Rick plays it good. Lacey's a good heel, but it's just Charlotte's the whole thing because, they have this match and like the match was dominated by Charlotte. Yeah. It should have been something where Lacey dominated it and, commentary could have been, Charlotte's head's not in the game. She's just thinking about Rick and everything. Then Charlotte should start to make her babyface comeback. Boom, Ric Flair's music hits. Instead, it was like Charlotte was kicking Lacey's ass the whole time. Lacey gets a little bit of offense, and then boom, Ric Flair's music. And then Charlotte starts to come back. Then Ric Flair's music hits, and then you see he grabs the leg and helps Lacey Evans win.
Nice pick right there, by the way, Bradley.
Yeah, and then it's I don't know, I don't get it because you almost think if Ric Flair doesn't come out, Charlotte kicks the shit out of Lacey Evans.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's like it should be something where it's like. Charlotte's kind of like the underdog and then, has the whole thing with Ric Flair. So it's like all the odds are stacked against her. But that's not the case. And I feel, didn't they do something where Charlotte and Rick kind of didn't like each other before?
Yeah, no, they done it already. They done it.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so
it's not the first time. Yeah, they've done it.
We keep seeing the same storyline and like what he's gonna bang Lacey Evans like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Then he'll get bored with that and then he'll be like, I'm sorry, Charlotte, woo, all that bullshit, I'm just a nature boy, all that shit, and it's like, I don't know, I mean, it's funny, like, when you see Rick and all this stuff, like, you laugh, but then when you really think about it, you're like, this is stupid, like, why isn't the tag team titles or the Raw Women's Championship, why isn't that the main focus?
Yes, well, you're right on that. Like you said, I think that like just the main focus is they're trying to like, Charlotte is trying to show how dominant she is, but like because Rick comes out and starts like messing up with her head, there's like, so I'm gonna keep losing matches, but like you said, this is gonna last maybe like 2 more weeks or so, and then that's going to be it. But the one thing that I gotta agree with you, Lacey sells this thing really good because there's a naughty aspect about her. We've seen pictures on Instagram, social media, like she knows how to sell herself in that matter. So, that's why probably they chose to do this storyline. And I'm not, that against it, but, like you said, it's not in the long run. It doesn't have a lot of life when it comes to that storyline. Like you said, our champion was revealed to have COVID-19. He cut a promo. He said he's asymptomatic. He says he's sorry because he's not there on the Thunderdome with everybody else, but he says that like in a few weeks he should be fine. He should be joining us again, and also like reiterates, hey, wear the masks, keep the social distance. There's a new breed, I think let's call it, like, of the disease, or like a new evolution of it, or mutation, and that's why they please be careful on that. So let's address also the other thing. Boom. He gave his thoughts about Goldberg challenging him, and he says he's fine. He respects everybody, but he didn't like when Goldberg pushed him. So he says, well, if that's going to be it, well, I'm going to have to kick your ass. So at the Royal Rumble, I accept your challenge. There you go. And our fear, one of our biggest fears in professional wrestling, became a reality in a matter of seconds. 2021 started out worse than 2020, it seems, for a lot of people, and this made it worse.
Yeah, I mean, see, the thing is, I don't think, you're almost positive Drew's not going to lose to Goldberg. I think this is just, they didn't know what to do. They already did Keith Lee. They're not going to do Sheamus, but Sheamus would have been a perfect match here. But maybe they think, hey, we don't know what to do with Drew until Mania. Let's give him Goldberg now. Hey, Goldberg said he would do it, whatever. The only thing I don't like about this is Drew's just like, oh, yeah, this championship, the one that you've never won, blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't poke fun at him just for the fact that it's like, don't make it, this is WWE, but it's like, don't make me try to have sympathy for Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's impossible.
No,
nope. Don't stop trying to sell it that he's a babyface. He's an old, selfish piece of shit who thinks he can just come in and be like, oh, look at me. I was pushed to the moon in a sport that's predetermined. Like, okay, dude. Yep. I could go to the gym and look like you and get pushed. There's no talent there.
Yeah.
So don't try to be like, oh, Goldberg, oh, he never won this belt. Oh, we should cheer for him to win it. No. Like I said, he's gonna hit the spear. He's gonna pick him up for the jackhammer. Drew's gonna fall out. Glasgow kiss, Claymore, and done.
And then that's how it's gonna be it. I think that's what it's gonna be. So like they're gonna have the match, and well, like you said, he's gonna probably be back on time for the matches, so there's no jeopardy. That like
at least and this is hopefully he doesn't lose. I'll be like Stone Cold with Bayley when Bayley's like, if I never win a belt, I'm good. He's like, don't say that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if Drew loses, which it's like, let's not say that. At least the last thing we'll see at the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble match, and not Goldberg holding up the.
Well, yeah, like you said, yeah. I think that he's not going to be the sacrificial lamb, so it'll be fine. This is something that I don't really like. I don't see the sense on this, because you're not helping out Elias at all. I don't know what, like, you have to push him at the expense of Jeff Hardy, a storyline that was actually like a year and a half. It was last year that they were trying to do like remember like who attacked him and who did this and all this. So like how like she was
and then a couple weeks ago they had that Symphony of Destruction match and everything. Yeah, and it's like it's because they don't know what to do with these guys. They want to do something with Jeff because they're like, Jeff's a name. Jeff has people like him. He's I guess you could say a legend, even though he's obviously still wrestling, but he is a legend.
Yeah.
And then they have Elias, who they're trying to push, Jackson Riker, and all this stuff, and it's but it's like, you're supposed to have a match with Jeff Hardy, and he's like, oh, my fingers has calluses on it from playing guitar.
It has
it has the invisible hand, all that stuff, and Kenny Omega, Impact, and then he's like, you're bullshit. He's like, oh, well, you're going to have a match with Jackson Riker. And as soon as they said that, I'm like, they're going to job out Hardy again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is the point? Nobody cares about Jackson Riker. People hate him because he's a Trump cocksucker. And he's like, oh, yeah, screw this, screw that. He's lucky he didn't get fired. And you're going to have him beat Jeff Hardy?
You're right.
So it's like, that's, nobody wanted to see him beat Jeff Hardy.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, what even happened? I was gonna say, what even happened? It wasn't like a roll up.
He rolled him up.
He was holding the pants. That's right. He was holding the pants.
Roll him up, and then Jeff Hardy says, "Hey, Well, like if you think that way, why don't you wrestle me then? Because I think Riker is better than you. So, but like you said, in the fashion of the show that has to repeat the same competitors, a lot of wrestlers fought the one or two matches because probably with COVID related issues. But right away, they have a match, and in this case, Jeff Hardy beats Elias. So, like you said, why you job both guys in my eyes. Both guys involved in the feud are jobbed because Jeff Hardy loses, and also like Elias loses to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, and what is this? And like, let's look at this whole feud in the grand scheme of things. What is this? Okay, so let's say Jeff wins. What does he move on to? He goes back to his tag team, his like half tag team, half not with Matt Riddle.
The Riddle Bros.
The Hardy Bros. And and then Elias and Riker, they can kind of just float around in obscurity, getting beat by AJ and Omos, or getting beat by whoever, and they're eventually going to split up, and it's going to be the fifth singles run, failed attempt for Elias, and then the first singles run, failed attempt for Riker. None of these guys have a future except Jeff Hardy, and Jeff Hardy, they're just jobbing him out every week.
Yeah, and that's a big issue because Jeff Hardy could give you, more legitimacy to the show, but in a better storyline, he'll be able to thrive, and he's not driving in it. Who will thrive in this? Nobody.
And that's why every week, when I think about what Matt Hardy said, which I'm not the biggest fan of Matt Hardy right now, I like Jeff a lot more. But when he's like, oh, the Hardy Bros or the Hardy Boys, will be back together again, we'll win more tag team gold. The more, as these days go and weeks go by, I definitely see that happening.
Oh, it will. It will. Once the contract is over.
What does Jeff have in here? He's like, oh, let me have the Fiend, let me have Roman, let me have be Brother Nero, let me do all this legitness. Then they do the draft, and they fuck everything up.
Oh, yeah. No, like I said, remember we mentioned when they did the draft, it's like, why is he going to Raw? And in SmackDown, he feels better. He thrives. That's when he became champion in 08. It was SmackDown, so he kind of has that familiarity with, the show. But, Nathan didn't do that. So let's go to another, stupid storyline. We have a tag match. Keith Lee, Sheamus going against The Miz and John Morrison. And like you always said in every single Monday Night Raw review, why is John Morrison the guy that gets pinned every single time? It's just the worst. I don't understand it. Why?
And I mean, it's just, I really don't get it. I mean, is it because the Miz's wife Maurice has big tits? Correct. That's why. It's their catchphrases. They're and it's. I really wish the Money in the Bank was not on Miz. I wish when he had it and he lost it, I wish that was it. Because that is the only reason why these two, again, like I said, besides Maurice's flotation devices, that's the only reason why these two are, even on television.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree. I feel
because
that
it's Maurice and the Money in the Bank. Because without it, nobody gives a shit about the Miz. John Morrison is super talented, but if he wasn't partnered with the Miz and all this stuff, who knows? He probably wouldn't even be signed to WWE.
He will, yeah, you're right. I mean, he has all the talent in the world, but they don't use him like they should. Like you said, Jeff Hardy right there, maybe a feud with John Morrison. Wouldn't you be excited about that?
Well, that would be badass.
I would be, because it's professional wrestling, rather than job me out to Riker, like you said, and a guy that should have been fired, or and then they beat Elias. Oh, that's supposed to make my night. No, this at least you see Keith Lee, I think he's trying to be more powerful, show all his strength, all the skills that he has, and he ended up breaking the ring, or one of the ropes came out. So that was funny. At least, something that happens live. And then right away, Sheamus and Keith Lee beat him, like you said, John Morrison got the pin, so why? Why do they do that? I don't understand why, but you see, they're best friends now, Sheamus and Keith Lee. Weeks ago, even Survivor Series time, they hate each other and all of that.
With this, it was one of the things where it's I don't like you and you don't like me, but we both really don't like these two. So let's kind of work together and let's kick their ass. So that I liked. And then but then after the match, they kind of got in each other's face a little bit, and it's let's kind of see who the better man is. So then it's we said, the trend of let's get people wrestling multiple times.
So stupid.
This was okay. I wish it not been whoever wins this is number one contender, because it's why should a random match have such kind of implications or something? But this was at least good because it was two top guys, at least top guys on Raw, and just beating the hell out of each other, having a pretty decent match. But it should have been something where this should have just been the match. It should have just been hey, no Drew, no, Randy Orton, that match isn't happening. Do you guys, hey, like, can you guys step up? Can, like, I'm going to book you in a match. Like, that's where Adam Pearce or somebody should be talking to these guys. Hey, like, show that
don't
there's
just
chaos.
start fighting out of nowhere, right?
Sure. Because what if there was a scheduled match? Yeah. Like, I guess the scheduled match isn't happening because these two guys want to fight.
Because the wrestlers like run the show, right? It's Nash and Chico, yes.
But I mean, I do like, Keith Lee wins it, and then I like at the end where it's like they stare at each other, and then it's like, what the hell's going to happen? Is it going to be a bro kick? What's going on? And then Sheamus hugs him like, all right, fella. Like,
it's legit. Like, you're legit. I mean, and also, like, put over, like, Keith Lee is fine. He needs it.
And what do you think now, because they did that and all this stuff, Sheamus kind of, like, at least is friends with Keith Lee, we could say right now. I don't think they're going to do Sheamus and Drew. I don't see that happening.
No, the time was the Royal Rumble. They needed to do it. That was the feud. You even said it. It makes progression. It can only last a month. Maybe stretch it out a little bit before Elimination Chamber. Fine. No, they didn't do it. They missed out on that. Completely missed out on that.
And speaking about when we talked about Goldberg, and we don't like to talk about the Miz very often or for very long, but don't be surprised if the cash in happens there or something. And see, that would be bullshit if it's Spear and Jackhammer on the Miz.
If you avoid bullshit to get him more bullshit, it's from bullshit to bullshit, because if Goldberg doesn't win it, which always going to be pissed. The Miz winning it is always going to be another shitty situation. So hopefully they didn't do that. But the fact that they gave the Money in the Bank briefcase back, it shows that he's going to cash in and be successful at it, because they would have not decided to do that. So let's go to Trevor. That's the face of Jean Paul when he has to review Monday Night Raw after 3 hours, right there. Yes. Paul is like, "Are you excited?" So nope. And he accepts, Randy Orton's challenge. He's ready. So we're gonna have Triple H in the main event. And like you said, doesn't that embarrass you in the locker room if you're a new wrestler or like a younger wrestler? It's like, oh, Triple H has to come out and he's gonna be in the main event, because there's not a single guy worthy or talented enough or push enough, to be in the main event. So there you go.
But tell me your thoughts on this. I'm sure when Randy Orton and Triple H go out and they cut these promos that are really good and they get you excited, I'm sure Vince McMahon or some writer isn't saying, go out and say this and say this and say this and say that. Right? Yeah. They're cutting their own promo in their own head.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But all these other guys are, you better go out, make sure you say this, make sure you say that. It's like, if you don't script the guys and they can actually cut a promo, then they'll give you this legit stuff. But if you script everybody, how can I, like, that would be like if you're cutting a promo, how can I cut the promo for you? Only you can do it. You know what I mean? Exactly. I can't tell you what you're going to say.
You know how to, like, say the words, you know how they're going to deliver it, all of it. Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but like you said, tainted comeback for Triple H because we got excited, but it's not going to last. So, this was very quick. Xavier Woods and T-Bar from Retribution. Xavier is going to be single for a few months, Paul, because Kofi Kingston broke his jaw. So he's going to be done. He's going to be out for a while. So in this situation, I think they did the right thing by make T-Bar get the win, fizz your eyes and done. I don't know what is Xavier Woods going to do by himself, but at least Retribution gets a win, and we still remember that they're actually a team in the WWE.
You want to know what they're going to do? It'll be Consequences, Creed, and the one and only Prince Puma will be going after Retribution, I'm sure.
Probably.
Because it's like, hey, are we going to push Ricochet in a singles thing? No. I mean, hey, you could turn Jeff Hardy heel, have him be Brother Nero. That would be perfect. Jeff Hardy versus Ricochet. Jeff Hardy versus, whoever. Xavier Woods here. You have plenty of guys who you could do something with that. But, no, let's not do that. We'll just, or you could have, maybe Elias go against Xavier Woods, or Elias go against Ricochet or something. Let's see some
feud that we haven't seen.
Yeah, but instead we're just gonna see the same old shit. Or you're just gonna plug Ricochet in with Xavier Woods, and they're gonna go after the Hurt Business, and it's not gonna be anything new or creative.
No, Physio has at least a win for Dijakovic. For the ones that don't know T-Bar, Dijakovic, at least that was a cool move. He sold it good. But like we said, WWE cannot hold themselves when it comes to like good matches or potential good feuds, and they couldn't hold it with this. And they also they ruined it for me and that was a United States Championship match with Bobby Lashley and Riddle. Before that, Matt Riddle had like an interaction with the Lucha Bros. With that was really funny because, like you said, Grand Metalik doesn't even speak English, so it's like, oh, he's talking about pizza. It's like when you go to like, you're very favorite pizza place, Mama's for Jean Paul and stuff like that. Like you get all the toppings and it's absolutely great, and you just have it in you, like it's like all like hot and all of that. But like the the Lucha House Party, they're like, sure. So like they go to this match and they job him out really bad. I think for me, Matt Riddle was jobbed out after this match. I want your thoughts about this.
Yeah, I really don't understand this. You and I were thinking this is going to be pay-per-view, and then Lashley says, oh, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble, and it's like, oh, well, there goes that idea, because they never make people wrestle twice. I mean, it has happened, but usually, you try not to do that. So it's like, okay, I guess they're going to do it here. And I knew there wasn't going to be a title change. And, you saw MVP out there. You knew there was going to be a little something. But, Matt Riddle looked good. I like when he did, like, the floating bro. Like when he does the springboard off the second rope, onto the outside, hit Lashley. Really beautiful move. And, took him out. And you're thinking, okay, this match should be pretty good. Maybe there'll be some kind of interference. Maybe the ref will distract. MVP will distract the ref, or the ref will have his back turned. MVP will punch him in the balls, punch him right in the stallion, something like that. But no, I think MVP did maybe a little something, but I'm pretty sure Lashley just put the hurt lock on him, clean, and shook the shit out of him, and he tapped. And I don't like how he tapped. I mean, it could have just been something where he tried to fight out of it, and he passed out. Because at least when you pass out, you have a sliver of like, oh, I didn't tap out. Like, there's a chance that you might have another rematch or you get something out of it. But he tapped out. The ref called it. It was done. Then after the match, he's like, oh, MVP, I lost to Lashley, but I know I could kick your ass. And then we get a match with MVP in street clothes, and MVP beats him. Yeah.
Well, Lashley also, caused interference. He did a spear, I believe. And there was a DQ, I believe. That's what it was, yeah. But like you said,
but didn't they play I'm pretty sure they played the Hurt Music's. I mean, the Hurt Business.
No, it was a DQ, yes. But like, for example, going to your point, it's like, why is MVP fighting in street clothes? Why can he go and just get the gear, get the match, like make it something believable? Like you said, like Matt Riddle pretty much got jobbed out once, and then the second one he gets his ass kicked. Like, and do we believe that he's going to beat Lashley? No. I don't.
And when are you doing this match? Yeah. I mean, the Royal Rumble is 2 weeks away, so it's like, when is this going to happen?
Yes.
Are you going to do it next week on Raw? Nobody's going to care. We just saw it last week, and then Matt Riddle wins. Oh, okay, we're supposed to feel like legit from that.
No, like you said, look at the face. Paul, bro, he got like jabbed out completely. Like you said, it's like they should wait, and like always, Paul is right when it comes about like the long-term booking.
Yeah, if
tease it, and then big pay-per-view comes up, pay-per-view day, give it to me.
If you wanted to do this double match, this whole thing, you should have had these two guys been fighting. Should have been an 8 count. Lashley goes back in the ring. MVP grabs Matt Riddle. Something happens. 9, 10, boom, boom. Ring the bell. Lashley wins on the count out. Riddle can be pissed. MVP, you're a piece of shit. Blah blah blah. They have a match. And then Matt Riddle wins to at least be like, you didn't beat me clean because your boy had to hold me. I beat your boy's ass. I deserve another match. Yeah. At least that would continue the feud. Not you lose and then you get your ass kicked.
Yeah, man, like that's WWE, for us. So let's go to the next one also. Like, hey, we don't know what to do with Drew Gulak, so he's demanding to be in the Royal Rumble, and Adam Pearce goes like, well, I already have the 30 participants. There's no room for you. So why is AJ there? AJ didn't win either. Like, he just lost a championship match. Like, well, I've been a WWE champion twice. You haven't been even once. Never even have a championship opportunity. So this was just like, hey, we don't have anything else. Like you said, there's 3 hours to fill. Let's put these guys. Drew Gulak is a pretty good wrestler. Do we care about him? No. So let's give AJ, and AJ will beat his ass really quick. I think that's all there was.
Yeah, this was it was all right. I wish Gulak would be presented in a more legit way, like he was when he was Cruiserweight champ and everything. But I mean, I like how he's just like, oh, yeah, Adam Pearce, I can help you out. If you want to put me in at number 30 in the Royal Rumble, that would be legit and all this stuff. It's just like, yeah, I'm sure you would like that. But, I mean, the match, I was hoping that they would have actually gave these guys some time just because the way the show was. Because I know the match between these two, if you said, go out there and give me your best match in 15 minutes, these guys would have gave you one of the best matches you would have seen in recent memory. Because they're both legit wrestlers. But, this was real quick. Gulak got a little bit of offense, looked good. Tiger Driver. He gets sent to the outside, and then I thought it was almost his third leg that was in front of Gulak's face, but it was his normal leg. And, he was, and he looks up and he's like, oh, shit. And then, phenomenal forearm, 1, 2, 3. AJ wins, and Gulak.
Done.
I mean, this was all just, there's no speculation, there's no feud, there's no storyline. Oh, what are they going to do? No, this was, hey, let's fill some time on the show that we need to fill time for.
That's what it is, and like talking about that, there you go. We needed more of this, Mandy and Dana Brooke against.
This I did not understand. Because after that match, I'm like, okay, we're going to see Triple H. He's going to be taping up his hands. He's going to be getting ready. Commercial, come back. Boom, time to play the game. We're going to have a legit main event, right?
Nope.
No. We see this wide load come out with Shayna Baszler, and I'm like, what is this? What is I don't know what it is, but when I hear Nia Jax's music, I get so infuriated.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is the point of this?
If you want to get John Paul's bad side, just play Nia's music, like Nia Jax's song, and then I like that Monsters, and then you'll see he'll be so done. And this was even, the girls look confident in this picture. They said they're both announcing their entry for the Royal Rumble. This is legit, Mandy and Dana. Okay,
and how come they can just say, "Oh, we're going to be in the Royal Rumble"? They didn't win anything.
Yeah, but because they're hot. Well, at least one of them is.
Gulak at least held gold in this company. I mean, they probably held something else. Something a little down south. Maybe ask Omos, but
yeah, well, like you said, and especially if you say that, at least have them win. But no, right there, like pretty much Shayna and Nia dominated the match. These two other ones look like idiots, and I don't understand why they do that. And then I think it was a Samoan drop, and then that was it, right? I think it was the Samoan drop, and that was it. And like Shayna was the one that pinned Mandy Rose, and Dana was trying to also help out, but both of them look jobbed out to me, and that's the one thing I don't get it. Like why they don't make these girls. I mean, the team in paper looks decent, but you put Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in it, and they're going to keep losing. Why you even announce your entry then? This is what's going to happen.
And also, they were the previous tag champs. They lost. So, split these two women up. Nobody cares about them as a tag team. Nobody cares about just them going after the tag team championships again. Split them up, because that's the two blondes. I don't know what the hell their tag team name is, if they even have one, but Rose and Brooke, they should be the ones who you're pushing for, to challenge Asuka and Charlotte on Monday Night Raw, and then the Riot Squad should be the other team you're building up on SmackDown. But it's like, what's the point of this? Split these two women up. Because they already both said they're going to be in the Royal Rumble, Nia and Shayna. Split them up, get them ready for the singles run, and do something like that. This was pointless. I did not care for this at all.
It was bad. Let's go to like, hey, bro, you'll be there for me the whole time. I know that like you've been there in the my toughest times. I think it's my time to help you out. Are you sure you can do this? And I like that line. He goes, "I make this mess. I have to clean it up. I have to clean it up, so don't worry. I'll be legit." And then like, you go bask in your glory. There's a bathroom right there. Go bask all you want. So
and I love how Keith Lee's just like, hey, he's like, hey, boss, I wrestled once, I wrestled twice. You want me to wrestle again? And that's what I mean. It's like, it's like, damn, dude. It's like, yeah, I know COVID's crazy, but like, don't worry, we can actually book the show, kind of.
Yes. That's the legitness though of like Keith Lee. That's the legitness of Keith Lee. He shows, at least to me, he's presented a little better now. Hey, I'll do it for you. And he goes, hey, boss. So he acknowledges the days of NXT, because you could just be wearing the same, brand, but no. So that was good. So like, here you go. The Legend Killers Challenge, it just turned out to be a match. And, Triple H came out with a Motorhead t-shirt. I like that, at least, That was cool. And
because they were selling this as the same thing with Christian. I mean, it was not that, like, Triple H was as done, like, medically as Christian, but it's like, oh, this isn't a match. It's an unsanctioned street fight, anything goes kind of deal. And it's... But when this match started, it would had to have been at least 10:53, 10:54. So, but we get 6 minutes. Like, how excited and hyped up could you have been for 6 minutes of this?
Yeah, no, and I mean, and also Triple H got busted open really early in the match because they did that spot where like they do the back body drop on top of the announcing table. So he got there. You could see.
Oh, that was Randy Orton who actually had the blood. It was on Triple H's head, but it was on Randy Orton's cheek. I think.
Oh, he got busted open. Okay, and like he got like the blood from there.
Yeah, it just rubbed on the Mr. Clean's head.
Oh, miss. Yeah, well, there you go. So like the match, like you said, it was going okay as planned. Nothing crazy, but at least two guys that knows how to wrestle. They can put a match anytime, anywhere. So we got to see this. This is legit. We always have to go like nostalgia road, memory lane, and there you go. The sledgehammer.
They should get the picture. Somebody should Photoshop Triple H's face like that, where when it's almost his legs sticking down and he's looking up. Like, what the fuck?
That's probably how it looks. So
he probably does call it a sledgehammer.
Yeah, well, maybe he hits it at this like this.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Yeah, so like, and he made it even better because like the lights went out. So you thought, oh my god! So like you said, 5 minutes of this, so the Fiend is gonna show up or some kind of fashion, but he actually light on fire. That was really cool though. Mm-hmm. And no more Mandingo's mentions on the but like you saw like this situation right there happening, and you saw Triple H actually a little bit like, oh, the Fiend is here. So he wasn't there in my day, but like this was cool. Didn't you like this? I think it was a pretty good like ending. But see, up at this point, many people is like, was this still live? No, it was just a feed. It was it was just like tape. It was a pre-tape feed. Like it was not live because as you see, the blood was already wiped out. And like you said, from Randy Orton's mouth, also like the blood was wiped out. So like they did this just to make it, like live, so it works actually better. This is the kind of things that you can do when you're just doing things in the Thunderdome, but people don't even see. But when you do it live, with crowds, they will not be able to do this. But all of a sudden, lights go off, and Alexa Bliss shows up, like you said, and he's like all like Nazi. I think it was like the Nazi like spot. I don't know why they have to remember Hitler, but they did that, and then she threw a fireball to Randy Orton. And I like this a little bit, but like we've seen this spot before so many times. With Keith Lee and Scarlett and Karrion Kross, they did the same thing.
I must say Randy did sell the fireball a little bit better because it was, he was trying to get out of the ring. He's like trying to step through the ropes and then he doesn't because he's like, I can't see. Am I going to fall off the apron? Like I'm blind. It wasn't like Keith Lee who was like screaming and like going crazy. And then when people tried to help him, he was like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't understand that. It's like you got hit in the face with a fireball. You're a baby face. Let the paramedics help you. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like Randy, I mean, this was okay, but I would have rather just seen, Randy Orton and Triple H just go at it, have a little bit of a match. But I guess this was a way out because it's like there is no program. There is no storyline. So Triple H beats Randy Orton. That kills all Orton's momentum. Randy Orton beats the shit out of Triple H and wins. That would have been like, so, like, it's like, okay.
We're waiting for him to come back, right?
Yeah, it's like what would have been the point of Triple H getting his ass kicked just because Drew's not there because of COVID? It's like, that doesn't make any sense either. But
yes,
this was fine. But I mean, the fireball is just, do you have something planned for the Fiend? Is he going to come back? Are they going to do something at the Royal Rumble?
Supposedly there is. There's a current plan to win another
at the Royal Rumble or something. Yeah, because it's now Randy Orton's blind. Is he going to sell it? Is he going to be back on Monday Night Raw next week? And I can see fine. It's legit. Or is he going to come in? Or is it next week he's going to have like a blindfold over his eyes or eye patch or something, and be like, oh, I can't see. Blah blah blah. Like how are they going to sell it? That's how it is to me. Because with a fireball, if back in the day when guys got hit with that, they sold that for months.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go that long, but at least if they do it like a week, maybe we're going to have it, and then they make the match official before the Royal Rumble, you'll be fine. I agree with you. So there you go.
Orton's in the Royal No, Orton is in the Royal Rumble, isn't he? I believe Orton said he was in it, so then yeah, I could see him and the Fiend both being in it, and then maybe the Fiend takes him out of the Rumble or something.
Or maybe they do double feature. They do double, they fight twice just because, like you said, there's a lot of cases that are not being revealed. There's a SmackDown superstar that is involved in the current storyline that actually has it also. So if you guys don't see either, like Kevin Owens, like you said, Roman, or any one of them, well, Roman they would announce it, but maybe Jay.
Roman they would because champion and also he's high risk. So you don't want that, or I mean,
Yes. So
and we saw Daniel Bryan, so I really can't think who else.
it has to be Kevin Owens. So like you said, like maybe they have a lot of changes happening. A lot of people are going to say cancel the Royal Rumble. It's okay. You know, we can survive with 1 year, then or maybe have it later on. Things like that. But that's what we have at the show. And like you said, maybe what they're going to do, like there were reports they were going to do a match, like the Firefly Funhouse match too. Same thing that what they did with John Cena. It's not official yet, but maybe they guys want to do double duty and fight at the Royal Rumble and have the match. Maybe. I don't know what they're going to do, but like a lot of changes happening during these days in the WWE Jean Paul, but that's what we have as a show. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and also notifications, you know, right there. Hit the bell for all of them. Every single day we put content, family. So where else can they find us in the social media world?
And don't forget to follow us on Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break on Instagram, and of course on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break.
Family, thank you so very much. We'll see you down the line.